Hello guys, Captain Alex Mason here. I'm doing another video on Call of Duty, a Halloween related topic. This will be like a 9-episode series. So the next movie I'm going to be talking about is the second Halloween movie, Halloween 2. Now, before I continue on, I do not own these things. I forgot to say that last time, but it's not like I'm actually showing the actual copyrighted material, so I should be good, at least for now. But basically, this movie was filmed in 1981, but it still takes place in 1978 because this is a continuation of that night on October 31st, 1978. So basically, they go send it. This is leading up to the events. We first see the same scene where Dr. Loomis is shooting his .44 Magnum 6 times at Myers, and Myers falls down, and then Jamie Lee Curtis, aka Laurie Strode, says, was that truly the boogeyman? He's like, as a matter of fact, it was. And she starts crying and shit. But anyway, after being so traumatized, they send her to the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, which for some reason he eventually follows her anyway. And it's like, of course, because why the hell not? I mean, this is Michael Myers we're talking about, not some random serial killer you see nowadays, like Jigsaw or something. But anyway, so basically, what kind of confused me though is why the hell would he travel on foot when he already hijacked the car? I mean, sure, the car was still there, but after seeing, when the doctor goes up to the police guy and says, I shot him 6 times! It didn't kill him! They just go, looking for him, and he's like, dude, the car is still, right in front of the yard. Why did you just take it? Because nobody's gonna see you. And, of course, he doesn't necessarily have a weapon anymore because he lost it. So, what does he do? He goes into, the nearest area and, steals this, elderly lady's kitchen knife, because it's his signature weapon, apparently. And yet, somehow, and I don't know why, when he gets to the hospital, he completely switches his weapons. Now, he's got, certain type of surgical scissors. They're scissors, but instead of, this, they look more bent downwards. Kind of somewhat of an obtuse or acute triangle angle. But basically, he goes there because he's still not finished with his damn mission. And, of course, we have every other cliche thing happen in a horror movie that takes place in a hospital. You got some of the blumbering idiots working in the hospital. You got this was another bad stereotype, in my opinion, in the movie. They had a fat-ass security guard. Basically, he wasn't a good security guard, because all he did was stare at the monitors all day, eating his cheeseburger, drinking his soda, whatnot. So then when he sees, oh, there's something wrong with my camera, maybe I should go out there and check this. So he's got this, fancy little walkie-talkie thing that nobody else knows to use but him. He gives it to a doctor, a nurse, who doesn't know how to use it because he doesn't, basically take a minute and go over what to do in case they have, a problem. And she's like, but I don't know what's going on. He's like, just don't worry about it. He's like, I'm going to go check the place now with my light because I don't have anything to protect myself with but my flashlight. So, I believe he was the first casualty of the thing, but before we get too far into that, we see her getting taken to the hospital, but before that, we see, this kid in Halloween costume being taken to the hospital. And I was like, dude, I'm actually a lot more interested in what the hell happened to this kid, because somehow, I don't know if that was a piece of glass stuck in his mouth, but it was something really bad because it was starting to bleed in his mouth. But he had, something stuck between his mouth, so he couldn't really talk. He's like, oh, don't worry, just put this here on your mouth. In my opinion, I think that would make it worse. He's like, dude, how do you not know that you might be pushing it deeper down his throat, and he could be choking on glass for all we know? But, I digress. Again, they never really say what happens to him, and then, somehow, I don't know how, maybe he was just there for, for a while, and then his mom came back to sign him out, and, take him back because he wasn't going to stay there long. But, in my opinion, if he had that injury, I think I'd stay a lot longer than, a few hours. I think maybe overnight. But, somehow he just magically disappears, and we have no idea what happened to him. We don't even know if he was still in the hospital or not. 10 to 1 he wasn't. Although it would be kind of ironic if he was, because then Michael Myers would be a deranged serial killer going through every single spot trying to find Laurie Strode. And this is where it gets interesting, because Laurie Strode actually finds out more about her deepened past that she never knew about. And so does Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis actually got pretty pissed when he found out. So he goes back to like I think it's the elementary school. He broke in and wrote something in blood on the chalkboard, and it's basically saying God or King of the Dead, I think. Let's see what it says. Sam Hain, that's what it was. He wrote Sam Hain. It was the elementary school, yes, there we go. Apparently it says sister or something. Sorry, I read that wrong, but Loomis eventually explains that Sam Hain was the name which referred to like a Celtic Lord of the Dead. And as they continue talking, the sheriff and the guy, this is also kind of weird. The sheriff guy had no idea that his sister died, or not his sister, his daughter died yet. And they found out, he's like, this is all your fault. It's like, you should, he's like, my fault? I wasn't the one watching this guy. It was my damn administrator who let him go. He's like, don't blame me. I'm trying to stop this guy too. He's like, I don't care. It's still your fault. But basically, Marion Chambers, the lady driving the car before in the first movie when it got carjacked by Michael Myers, she shows up and says, hey, I got something to tell you, and I'm warning you, you may be pissed at this. It's like, well, damn right I'm pissed. Turns out he had another daughter, and guess who that daughter is? Laurie Strode. She was a Myers. Laurie Myers, basically, but now she's known as Laurie Strode. But they were sending her to the Strodes because they wanted to protect her, because they knew what was going on with him, and all that shit. And, you know, they had, like, some really bad people, like, really stupid people working in the hospital. Like, this one guy, I don't know why, he reminds me of one of the characters from Fish and Chips, even though I've never really seen the show. He just looks like a Fish and Chips character. Kind of like Eric Estrada in the show. But anyway, this guy would constantly swear all the time, and then she's like, why do you always have to swear? He's like, sorry, man. Sorry, sweet. I guess I fuck up so many times. And he's, like, basically swearing right back at her again. He's like, dude, why? And of course, with the hospital just being abandoned and having the night shift, I think I'd rather have a day shift, to be honest, and then I would avoid all this altogether. All of the people start to die, even the head doctor. He gets like a needle in the eye, and it's kind of creepy because, you know, there's nothing in the injection. It's just poked in his eye, and he dies from it. Everybody else is looking for other people. Two guys died, two of the doctors/nurse people died naked in the fucking bathtub, or in the showers area, the baths area. One died while trying to turn the heat off because the heat was getting hotter in the hot tub, and that's dangerously hot. So he gets stabbed. Michael Myers basically turns it back all the way up into the red zone, basically, where it can kill you. And then he's grabbing the lady who was still naked, getting out of there, just like constantly pushing her into the water, causing her to die from all the heated water because, you know, it's dangerous. It's bad. Remember, kids, going in really hot water is bad. They had some television versions, like, where some of the things had to be cut out because, you know, it's all just stuff that's supposed to happen. So then Dr. Loom, like, Laurie's like running all around the hospital trying to get out. She finally gets outside to the cars in the parking lot, but notices she can't go anywhere because all the tires have been slashed. So she's like, well, shit, I'm just going to hide in this car and not even figure out who this car belongs to. It turns out this nice guy, which I felt so bad for how he died. He basically was looking for what I consider the sergeant character in the hospital, because she acts more like a sergeant than she does a medic. She's like, you know the rules. Get out of here. And he's like, fine. And he saw that she was getting a blood transfusion, only instead of actually going somewhere, it's just like poked into her arm and just caused to like ooze out on the floor. because, you know, this is Myers. He likes to cause a lot of collateral damage, apparently. So he slips on her blood and has, like, a severe head trauma, which is kind of sad the way how he went out compared to most people. Like, Myers wasn't even after him, and he died from head trauma. He's like this. And he gets into the car, he's like, oh, hey, Lori, let's drive us out of here. And he died right there, honking the horn. He's like, ah, shit, that's gonna cause so much, like, alarm. All of a sudden, Dr. Loomis and the other characters, including a marshal, comes and says, oh, look, we're here. And she's, like, screaming at the top of her lungs and notices he's right outside. It's like running back towards the door, pounding on the door, and it takes them forever to find out. They got to her, like, as quickly as they could. And then, you know, because Dr. Loomis is the only one with a gun right now, shoots Michael Myers again, and then says, stay away from that guy. And then all of a sudden the marshal's like, I can't feel a pulse. Well, no shit, you can't feel a pulse. He's dead already. He's not a zombie, but he's still dead. Like, he's taken everything that a normal human would die from. Like, stabbed in the neck, stabbed in the face, shot in the face, shot in the chest, 6 times. But, again, Marshall doesn't care about the reports. He's just like, I'm supposed to get this doctor guy, and they don't really say why I need him. I just gotta bring him back. So, he dies. He's like, because he left his guard down, and now all of a sudden, now it's just Dr. Loomis. Dr. Loomis told Marion to get the hell out, find some help, I guess. And so Dr. Loomis and Laurie Strode are the only ones left in the hospital now, besides being chased by Michael Myers. So they go into, like, this room that's got, apparently, I don't know if it's oxygen tanks, but they're also, like, flammable. So he gives her a gun because apparently he had a secondary revolver handy. And this is how he basically got the whole scar in the next movies, because of this big explosion. So he's, like, walking towards her because he knocked the doctor out of the way, and she's like, and after Dr. Loomis told her that you're a relative of Michael Myers and that's why he's trying to kill you, she's like, she says Michael, and she didn't even know what he was called yet, and then all of a sudden, he, like, stopped, like, saying, this girl knows my name, even through all the horrors that I never said. He's like, maybe I shouldn't kill her. Nah! He just continues on with his thing. She's like, ah, shit! Like, shoots him till, like, there's no ammo left. He's like, ah, crap, I'm gonna die. All of a sudden, he's like this, hey, Myers, go to hell. Breaks all the, like, oh, God, what's it called? The gas tanks. Yeah, the oxygen tanks. They blow up the entire place. He's, like, still, like, on fire. But before, when he got shot, there was, like, blood coming out of his mask from his eye area, like, indicating he must have got shot pretty hard to get that. All of a sudden, like, we see her out of the hospital, but we don't see Dr. Loomis or Michael Myers anywhere. Which is kind of odd, because like, they said Myers disappeared, but they found Dr. Loomis. And this is what left me with some curious questions in the 4th Halloween movie, which I'm going to get into later, when that happens tomorrow. But basically, it is now November 1st, 1978. She doesn't have to worry about Halloween anymore, because apparently that's a thing for him. He doesn't like to kill anybody unless if it's Halloween Eve or Halloween itself. Which would be kind of safe, I guess, because then for every other days of the year you wouldn't have to worry about him following you, except for Halloween Eve and Halloween itself. So, and the reason why I'm doing this so early in the morning is because I got a 3-hour delay before I actually have to go to school yet, so I figured, why not just get this out of the way? So anyway, she now, like, disappears for the rest of the franchise for a bit, and only return back as, like, some other character. But anyway, that was Halloween 2, guys. I'm Captain Alex Mason. I'll see you guys next time. Ah!